Till 6
deferred
p.m. we did.
Yes.
a fall in export.
Yes. Till there.
Okay. Now we will be doing the impact of deficit demand. Okay. So ma'am, what are the impacts? So first is effect on output. So ma'am, what are the effects? Basically, see, right now nobody is demanding. So what you will do? Your output, you will stop producing more. So there will be fall in your output, right? So due to lack of sufficient aggregate demand, because nobody is demanding now, there will be an increase in inventory stock. Inventory stock means whatever goods you have, there will be increase because you were producing one chocolate every day, but nobody is demanding. So at the end of 10 days, you have 10 chocolates, right? So it will force the firm to plan for the lesser production for the subsequent period. As a result, planned output will fall. And then effect on employment, deficit demand cause the inventory unemployment. See, nobody is I have 10 workers at my place, but now right now nobody is producing, so I don't need to do further production, so I will fire them, I will ask them to resign, right? So because of this there will be inventory unemployment. So inventory unemployment means that they are willing to work but they are not getting the work, right? Then affecting general price, because nobody is demanding, so of course due to deficit demand, general price will also fall because nobody is demanding for goods and services in the economy. Clear? So you will write hashtag impact of deficit demand, and then you will write first, second, third. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Done. Done, ma'am.
Okay. Now coming to C. These are the now what we did in the entire chapter. We did three things till now. Okay, this chapter is all about excess demand and deficit demand. So we are only going to discuss only that. So what we did, let's just discuss. Excess demand we did, and this is your deficit demand. Oh, I don't know, my writing pad is so messy. Okay, so what we did, excess demand, right? And deficit demand. Okay, what we did, excess demand definition, first of all we did. Okay, then we did diagram. Okay, then we did the impact. Okay, similarly with definition, diagram and impact. Okay, these were the three things. Now these are the problems. Now of course there should be some reason, like the question is, ma'am, how can we correct this excess demand, or how can we correct the deficit demand? Okay, so basically we have two measures. One is fiscal policy measure, one is monetary policy measure. Fiscal policy is basically, you remember the budget chapter, fiscal year, right? So over there what we were doing, basically the budget chapter was basically is what is budget. Budget is basically how much the government is spending in a manner, the expenditure and the revenue, right? So fiscal policy is only related to these two, the revenue and the expenditure of the government. Okay, and then monetary policy of measure, you remember the banking chapter where we did how central bank controls the money supply and all that, quantitative and qualitative measures, repo rate, reverse repo rate, moral suasion and all that, right? So this is the monetary policy. So in this chapter, we will discuss fiscal policy, but monetary policy we won't be discussing because we have already done that. Like we will not write everything in detail about monetary policy. We will write in short, but fiscal policy, we will write everything in good way. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Halima, clear? Halima left. Okay,
Yes.
Halima is here. Okay. Now coming to ma'am, so if I'll ask you, ma'am, how can you control excess demand and the deficit demand? You will say, ma'am, we have two measures. One is fiscal policy measure and one is monetary policy measure. So let's first understand what is fiscal policy measure. So meaning and its instrument. Instrument is basically, for example, if I ask you what are the instrument of monetary policy, you will say, ma'am, repo rate, reverse repo rate, bank rate, moral suasion, open market operation. All these are the instrument through which you will be, controlling the things. So first of all, ma'am, what is fiscal policy measure? Fiscal policy refers to the budgetary policy of the government or the policy related to revenue and expenditure of the government with a view to correct situation of excess demand or the deficit demand. So basically, this is a budgetary policy of the government related to a revenue and expenditure with a view that they will correct it, excess demand or the deficit demand. Now coming to instrument, government revenue and government expenditure. Okay, government revenue have three parts: tax, public debt, and deficit financing. So one by one, first of all, we will understand all this thing and then we'll do the solution. So instrument, so A is basically this, and this is your A, this is your B, this is your first part, second part, and the third part. Okay, so A, fiscal instrument related to government revenue. You have tax, right? Tax you have. So what are tax? Tax is a compulsory payment to the government according to prescribed law. Taxes are of two types, direct tax and the indirect tax. Okay. Coming to public debt, it refers to borrowing by the government from the public through the issuing securities. Okay, deficit financing, it refers to issuing of more currency to meet the budgetary deficit. It increases the money supply in the economy. So basically, for example, you went for your birthday party, your budget was 100 rupees, right? But when you were there, the prices were the restaurant was really highly priced. So your total bill was 180 rupees, right? This 80 rupees you took from your friend. Now you have to cover this, so that is deficit financing, right? So you get more currency to meet the budgetary deficit, to get your the over money which you spend, the 80 rupees you spend it a lot extra. So that is. Now A part we are done. We have discussed what is tax, what are public tax, what are deficit finance. Now, ma'am, what is government expenditure? Where government do spend money? It's not like government will go and government will do party all night and then government is going to spend the money. No, right? So fiscal instrument or government expenditure or government spending, government spends on first public work like construction of road, dams, bridges, flyover building, etc. Education and public welfare program, defense of the country and maintenance of law and order, and provision of subsidies to producer to encourage production. So these are the areas where government do expenditure. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So how you will write? You are first going to write this. You will write this hashtag policy measures to control excess demand. And then let me tell you how you're going to do this. See, first of all, you will write hashtag this. Wait. This hashtag. Then over here only, like after this, you will draw. Wait. After this, you will draw it like this. And over here, you will write fiscal policy measures, this one. And over here, you will write monetary policy like this. Okay. And then you will write this hashtag fiscal policy meaning. Okay. Then you will write the meaning. And then you will write again hashtag instrument of fiscal policy. You will draw it. Then you will write explanation of instrument of fiscal policy. Then A first, like this, the entire explanation. Clear? Girls, clear?
Yes,
No?
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
In case if you have any doubt or you want to ask something, you can just ping me.
Can you scroll down?
Yeah, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you scroll down? Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Done.
Okay. So now coming to this. This is fiscal measure to control excess demand and the inflationary gap. Okay. So first of all, we have two things. One is your expenditure and one is your revenue. Revenue, you have three things, tax and all that. Okay. So we'll see, ma'am. So first of all, you will write hashtag fiscal measures to control excess demand or the inflationary gap. Then you will write first fiscal measure related to government revenue. So over here, this is, or you can write A over here and then first tax. So no need to write the definition because you have already written it. So you will write tax to control excess demand. What should government do? Of course, the government should impose new taxes and raise the existing. Like for example, if you are paying 10 tax, 10 rupees tax, the government will increase it. Why? Because right now people are demanding a lot, so they have lots of money. So when government will increase the tax, now people have to pay more tax. So instead of spending money on other things, they have to pay the tax from that money. It will reduce the disposal income. Consumption by household sector and the investment by producer sector will fall, and aggregate demand is reduced and excess demand is corrected. Okay. Second is public debt or borrowing. So it refers to borrowing by the government by issuing a certain security to so you are not going to write all this definition. You will not write because you have already written it. Then you will write to control excess demand. So the demand should increase public debt or borrowing. It will reduce the disposable income. Consumption. So what government should increase the public debt or borrowing. Okay, because of the disposable income will reduce. Consumption by household and the investment by producer sector will fall. Aggregate demand is reduced and excess demand is corrected. Okay. Then deficit financing. Again, you will not write the definition. You will write, oh, deficit financing. Government should reduce deficit financing. Okay. Because of this, there will be reduce in supply of money. Now government will not give loan to anyone or money to anyone to correct their this. So what they will do, they will, because of this, less money will go to them and disposable income will fall down. Consumption by household sector and the investment by producer sector will fall, and aggregate demand is reduced and excess demand is corrected. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now these were the things for revenue. Now coming to your this expenditure. So fiscal measure related to government expenditure or government spending. So to control excess demand, you are not going to write this definition. You will write C. Expenditure. So earlier government was paying subsidy, giving subsidies and all that. So what should government should do? Government should reduce its expenditure on non-development and unproductive work. Because of this, there will be less money supply, and because of this, aggregate demand will fall, and the problem of excess demand or the inflationary pressure will be corrected. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
So you will it from hashtag fiscal measure from here, hashtag fiscal measure to correct excess demand or the inflationary gap. Then you will write A, fiscal measure related to government expenditure. First, taxes to control excess demand, these point. Second, public debt to control excess demand, these point. Third, deficit financing to control excess demand, these point. And then B, this is your B. Okay, this is your B, fiscal measure related to government expenditure, then to control excess demand, all this point. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, the graph also we have to draw.
No need to draw the graph.
Okay. Let's go down.
Okay, Sana, you are done with the text part.
Yes.
Okay, we can.
Done, ma'am. Finish.
Done, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Halima, you are also done.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we have done the excess demand. Now we are going to do the deficit demand. So fiscal measures to control, to correct fiscal deficit demand or the deflationary gap. Okay. So over here, same taxes and all that we'll be looking. So fiscal measure related to government revenue. First are taxes. So a compulsory payment to be made by government by which whom on it is imposed. Okay. This you already know, so we are not going to write the definition. Okay. Then to control deficit demand, the government should not impose. See, right now, whatever you wrote, it will be opposite. Okay, so the government should not impose new taxes and reduce the rate of existing taxes. There, what was government doing? Government should impose new taxes, plus should increase the rate of existing taxes. But here it is opposite. Because of this, what will happen? It will increase the disposal income, consumption by household sector, and the investment by producer sector will rise, and aggregate demand increase, and deficit demand is corrected. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now coming to next, public debt. So it refers to borrowing by the government by issuing certain securities. So you are not going to write the definition to here. So over here, what government will do? The government should decrease public debt or borrowing. Also, government may offer to buy back the issued securities. It will increase the disposable income. Consumption by household sector and investment producer will rise, and aggregate demand is increased, and the deficit demand is corrected. Clear? So you will write these two. Okay. So first of all, you will write fiscal measure to correct deficit demand and the deflationary gap, like this. And then I'll scroll it down. Then you will write A. You will write over here A, fiscal measure for government revenue, first and second. Okay. Write the
Okay,
second
ma'am.
first, this one.
Scroll down. Um, graph also should be there.
No, you don't have to draw a graph. See, it's same now. We already did this excess demand and deficit demand. When demand will come down, that is deflationary gap. When demand will go up, that is inflationary gap. Okay. So no need to draw the graph. Just like this. First, fiscal measure
These
related to
methods are
government.
used to correct inflation, and these methods that we are doing are used to correct deflation or deficit demand.
Yes. So they can ask you either they can ask you how to correct deflation. So again, you have to write all this, right? If they can ask you how to correct deficit demand, so you should be ready with both the answers.
Okay. Like how many points we should make, or like how much mark it will come for?
See, if they are asking you, to write in general, so what you can do, you can just mention 2 points for this fiscal one or 2 points for the monetary one, like this. But if they ask you that what are the fiscal policy measure to reduce this, so then of course it will come for 5 to 6 marks, right? So, or they can just ask you with the help of taxes, how government can reduce deflationary gap or how government can increase inflationary gap, like this. So over here you have to write the entire story, right? So they can ask you in either way. So if they are asking in just simple context how you can reduce the deflationary gap, you have two policies. One is your fiscal and one is your monetary. The 2 points of fiscal and 2 points of monetary. That's enough, right? 2 points in the sense like the government revenue, and over there you have lot many things, repo rate and all that. So you can just give 2 or 3 examples like this. Okay. But if they are asking you with the help of texts, like how you can control it, so you have to write entire thing. That will, if they are asking for you particular thing, then it will come for 2 marks or 3 marks. Okay. Over there, what you will do, if they are asking you just one single term, then you have to draw a graph, and there you have to mention that this is the deflationary gap, and this you will correct. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Done.